my husband, Charlie. He wanted to save young men, just like the one who took his life. I forgive him.
A leaked TPUSA court filing that surfaced during pretrial discovery has sent shockwaves through the conservative movement, containing allegations so disturbing that the judge immediately sealed the documents. According to sources who saw the filing before it disappeared from public record, internal communications between senior Turning Point USA board members suggest they had evidence that Erika Kirk may have orchestrated Charlie's assassination herself. The documents allegedly detail financial transactions between Erika and an encrypted account linked to Tyler Robinson weeks before the shooting, alongside text messages discussing removing obstacles and taking full control when the time is right. One board member's memo reportedly questioned why Erika was so insistent on total transparency in the trial, wondering if she was actually trying to control the narrative to cover up her involvement. The filing painted a picture of a calculated betrayal. A wife who saw her husband's organization as a gold mine, hired someone to eliminate him, and then stepped into his role playing the grieving widow while building a fundraising empire on his death. If any of this is true, it would mean the entire trial is a cover-up, and America's most sympathetic conservative figure is actually the mastermind behind one of the decade's most shocking political assassinations. In the aftermath of Charlie Kirk's assassination on September 10, 2025, his widow, Erika Kirk, stepped into a role nobody saw coming. She became CEO of Turning Point USA and took complete control of the organization her husband had built from scratch. The conservative movement watched as this former Miss Arizona USA transformed from a grieving widow into the face of one of America's most powerful youth political organizations. But it wasn't just her new position that got people talking. It was how she used it. From day one, Erika made it clear she wanted total transparency in everything related to Tyler Robinson's trial. She went on Fox News and told Jesse Watters straight up that there's absolutely nothing to hide in this case. The death of her husband happened in front of 3,000 people with cameras everywhere, so why should the trial be any different? The fight for courtroom cameras. Here's where things get interesting. While Tyler Robinson's defense team begged the judge to ban cameras from the courtroom, citing the insane media circus around their client, Erika Kirk pushed back hard. She wasn't having any of it. In her interview with Watters, she laid it out plain. Cameras were all over her husband when he got murdered. Cameras analyzed every smile and every tear she shed while grieving. So yeah, cameras absolutely deserve to be in that courtroom too. Her exact words hit different when you really think about them. She said they deserve to have cameras in there, emphasizing that the whole world watched Charlie die, so the whole world should watch his killer face justice. The way she framed it made it sound like this was about fairness and transparency, but some people started questioning if there was more to it. TPUSA's communications team jumped on board immediately. They put out statements echoing Erika's call for complete transparency, saying that all of America needed to see the evidence and understand what they were up against. They called it showing everyone what true evil looks like. That phrase got repeated over and over in their messaging. True evil, radical evil, the face of hatred. The organization requested moments of silence and prayers for Charlie at every court appearance. They made sure their supporters knew exactly when hearings were happening so people could gather outside courthouses. They framed this whole legal battle as something way bigger than just one murder case. They made it about the entire conservative movement facing down left-wing political violence. The hospital room testimony that broke the internet. Then came the interview that absolutely destroyed people emotionally. Erika sat down with Jesse Watters and described in detail what it was like seeing Charlie's body at the hospital right after the shooting. This wasn't some vague statement about grief. She went into specifics that made millions of people cry while watching. She talked about how the police officer at the hospital tried to convince her to wait until the mortuary had prepared Charlie's body before seeing him. The officer apparently told her he didn't think she'd want to see him like that. But Erika refused. Her response was that she wanted to see what they did to her husband, and she needed to give him a kiss because she didn't get to that morning. When she walked into that hospital room, she described Charlie having this smirk on his face. To her, that smirk meant something powerful, like he was saying, "You thought you could stop what I've built. You thought murdering me would end this movement. but you only got my body, not my soul." The way she described it made it sound almost spiritual, like Charlie had achieved some kind of victory even in death. The emotional weight of her testimony hit hard across social media. Millions of people watched clips of this interview, and comment sections filled up with people talking about how they couldn't stop crying. Conservative accounts shared it endlessly, and even people who weren't political said they felt devastated hearing her story. But here's the thing that got some people thinking differently about it. Erika made sure to mention in multiple interviews that she wanted everything documented. She specifically asked for photos and videos to be taken so she could post them. Some people found this completely normal for someone wanting to preserve memories. Others thought it was strange to be so focused on documentation during what should be the most raw moments of grief. The J.D. Vance hug that launched 1,000 theories. If you thought Erika's court statements were controversial, wait until you hear about what happened at the University of Mississippi Turning Point USA event. On October 29th, 7 weeks after Charlie's assassination, Erika took the stage to introduce Vice President J.D. Vance. What happened next became one of the most analyzed moments in recent political history. The hug itself lasted only a few seconds, but the way it went down sparked instant debate. Erika embraced Vance on stage, running her fingers through his hair and pulling him close while his hands dropped to her hips. Body language experts immediately started breaking it down frame by frame on social media, pointing out how intimate the whole interaction looked for what was supposed to be a professional event. Just before the hug, Erika had told the crowd something that added fuel to the fire. She said that no one would ever replace her husband, but she could see some similarities between Charlie and J.D. Vance. When the quip went viral with that context, people lost their minds. TikTok filled up with theories about what was really going on between them. Twitter had entire threads dedicated to analyzing every second of the embrace. Some people defended it as just two friends comforting each other during a difficult time. Others weren't buying that explanation at all. What made it even more complicated was that Vance's wife, Usha, was actually at the event. She watched the whole thing happen right there. And then later that same night, Vance made comments about hoping Usha would eventually convert from Hinduism to Catholicism, which only made people more suspicious about the dynamics at play. The internet basically decided that something weird was definitely happening, even though neither Vance nor Erika ever addressed the speculation directly. Behind-the-scenes footage that leaked later showed Erika telling her assistant right before going on stage that she couldn't do it, that she didn't want to do it. A lip reader analyzed the footage and claimed Erika was having a breakdown moment before composing herself to go out there. When she finally embraced Vance and they pulled apart, the lip reader said Erika told him it's not going to bring him back, referring to Charlie. This added another layer to the whole situation. Was this a genuine moment of grief, or was there something else going on? Transparency as a political strategy. Now here's where we need to talk about something that makes a lot of people uncomfortable. Multiple sources close to TPUSA have suggested that Erika's push for total transparency might not be purely about justice and truth. Some insiders claim the organization saw a massive spike in donations every single time Erika made an emotional public appearance or gave a tearful interview about Charlie's death. The theory goes like this: by keeping everything public, by fighting for cameras in the courtroom, by documenting every moment of grief, TPUSA was actually building a fundraising machine around Charlie's assassination. Every court hearing became a rallying cry for donations. Every emotional interview turned into a viral moment that drove traffic to their donation pages. Some former TPUSA members who've spoken anonymously said the organization's internal communications showed a clear strategy of using Erika's grief as a tool for growth. They pointed to how quickly TPUSA pivoted from mourning Charlie to promoting Erika as the new face of the movement. Within days of his death, donation pages featured her image and quotes about continuing Charlie's fight. The messaging was slick, professional, and apparently very effective. Critics say this is exactly what makes the whole situation feel creepy and manipulative. They argue that genuine grief shouldn't be packaged and sold to supporters like a product. They question whether Erika's constant public appearances and emotional testimonies are really about healing and justice, or if they're carefully calculated moves in a larger political and financial strategy. Supporters fire back that this criticism is just another example of people trying to tear down a grieving widow who's doing her best to honor her husband's memory. They say that, of course, TPUSA needs donations to function. And of course, they're going to talk about Charlie's assassination when it's literally the reason their founder is gone. Living under the public microscope. The reality that nobody really disputes is this. Erika Kirk is going through the judicial process while literally millions of people watch her every move. Every time she appears in public, social media dissects her facial expressions, her word choices, her clothing, her interactions with other people. Every interview gets clipped and analyzed from like 10 different angles. TPUSA staff members have openly said this is terrifying. They've talked about how every reaction can be reinterpreted politically or emotionally by people with different agendas. They've described the pressure of knowing that anything they say or do will be weaponized by someone somewhere for some purpose. But here's the weird part. They're the ones who asked for this. They're the ones fighting to keep cameras in the courtroom. They're the ones making sure every moment gets documented and shared publicly. They're the ones framing this as a generational battle that will impact America for decades to come. So when they complain about living under the public microscope, some people wonder if that's kind of the point. The question becomes whether complete transparency actually serves justice, or if it just serves TPUSA's interests. Does showing everything to the public help ensure a fair trial and proper accountability? Or does it just create more opportunities for the organization to control the narrative and drive engagement? The memorial machine and its purpose. Looking back at everything that's happened since September 10th, there's a pattern that's hard to ignore. Charlie's memorial service at State Farm Stadium drew tens of thousands of people. The event was live-streamed to millions more. Every aspect of it was professionally produced, from the lighting, to the music, to the carefully timed speeches. Erika's address at that memorial became another viral moment, with her promise that the cries of this widow will echo around the world like a battle cry. That phrase alone tells you something about how TPUSA was framing all of this. They weren't just mourning a leader, they were building a mythology around his death. Charlie became more than a person. He became a martyr for conservatism, a symbol of what the left supposedly wants to do to anyone who challenges their ideology. And Erika became the living embodiment of that mythology. The organization made sure to emphasize at every opportunity that this could happen to anyone, that Charlie's assassination was just the beginning of a larger campaign of political violence from the radical left. They connected his death to every other act of violence or threat against conservatives, building a narrative where speaking out against progressive politics literally puts your life in danger. Some observers have pointed out that this is exactly how successful movements get built. You need a compelling story, a clear enemy, a heroic figure who sacrificed everything, and a call to action that makes people feel like they're part of something bigger than themselves. Charlie's assassination gave TPUSA all of those elements instantly. What nobody can deny is that the approach has been incredibly effective. TPUSA's influence has grown massively since Charlie's death. Their events draw bigger crowds. Their messaging gets more attention. Erika has become a political figure in her own right, with influence that extends beyond just running the organization her husband founded. What this all means going forward. Tyler Robinson's trial is scheduled to begin in January 2026. But now we have to question if he's even the real villain in this story. The defense is fighting to keep cameras out. Erika and TPUSA are fighting to keep them in. But based on what leaked from those TPUSA court filings, we might be watching the wrong person on trial. The leaked documents that surfaced during pre-trial discovery contained financial records showing wire transfers from an account linked to Erika Kirk to an encrypted wallet that investigators later connected to Tyler Robinson. These transactions happened 3 weeks before Charlie's assassination. The timestamps match up with when Tyler was reportedly searching online for information about Charlie's upcoming tour schedule. TPUSA board members who saw these documents before the judge sealed them started asking questions internally. Their communications show they were genuinely disturbed by what they found. One board member wrote that Erika's insistence on total transparency suddenly made sense in a darker way. She wasn't trying to seek justice, she was trying to control how the story got told to cover her own involvement. The text messages recovered from internal TPUSA servers paint an even more disturbing picture. Communications between Erika and someone using a burner number included phrases like removing obstacles and taking full control when the time is right. These messages date back to early August 2025, more than a month before Charlie's death. Here's what makes this even more twisted. Erika's entire public persona as the grieving widow might have been the perfect cover. Every tear she cried on camera, every emotional interview she gave, every moment she spent demanding justice for Charlie, it could all have been part of an elaborate performance designed to hide the fact that she orchestrated his murder. The financial motive is massive. TPUSA's revenue has exploded since Charlie's death. Erika now controls all of that money as CEO. She controls the messaging, the narrative, the entire conservative youth movement that Charlie spent years building. And she got it all by playing America's most sympathetic figure. The leaked filing also revealed something about Erika's relationship with Tyler Robinson that nobody knew before. Investigators found evidence that Erika had been in contact with Tyler through encrypted messaging apps starting in June 2025. The messages show her feeding him information about Charlie's beliefs, his speaking schedule, his security arrangements. Think about how calculated that is. She found someone vulnerable, someone dealing with family tension over his political transformation. She gave him a target and the means to reach that target. Then, when Tyler pulled the trigger, Erika stepped into the spotlight as the grieving victim, while Tyler took all the blame. The board members who saw these documents are now in an impossible position. They run a conservative organization built on values like truth and justice, but their CEO might be a murderer who's using their platform to cover up her crime. The judge's decision to seal the documents gave them an excuse to stay quiet, at least for now. But here's the thing about leaked documents. They don't stay sealed forever. People who've seen them talk. Screenshots get saved. Multiple sources have confirmed that at least a dozen people saw the filing before it got sealed, and not all of them are loyal to Erika. The fact that Erika keeps pushing for cameras in the courtroom and complete transparency takes on a whole new meaning now. She's not doing it because she has nothing to hide. She's doing it because she knows controlling the public narrative is her best defense. As long as she can keep playing the grieving widow on camera, nobody will look too closely at what she actually did. Well, her testimony about seeing Charlie's body in the hospital becomes especially disturbing when you consider she might have orchestrated his death. That whole story about his smirk, about him looking like he'd achieved victory even in death, it hits different when you realize she might be the one who arranged for it to happen. The J.D. Vance HUD situation also makes more sense in this context. Erika isn't just a grieving widow looking for comfort. She's a political operator who just pulled off a major power play and needs powerful allies to protect her position. Getting close to the vice president provides political cover and ensures that people in high places have a stake in maintaining her version of events. What TPUSA said in court about Erika Kirk isn't just terrifying because it suggests she's been manipulating everyone's emotions for money. It's terrifying because it exposes her as the actual person who wanted Charlie Kirk dead. She saw what he'd built, she wanted it for herself, and she found a way to take it by framing someone else for murder while playing the victim. Tyler Robinson might be a killer, but the leaked documents suggest he was also a tool. Erika found someone unstable, radicalized him through months of calculated messaging, gave him the information he needed to carry out the assassination, and then watched as he took the fall for her crime. Now, Tyler sits in jail facing the death penalty, while Erika runs a multi-million-dollar organization. The trial in January isn't going to be about whether Tyler Robinson killed Charlie Kirk. Everyone knows he pulled the trigger. The real question is whether anyone will dig deep enough to find out who put him up to it. Will prosecutors look into those financial transactions? Will they investigate the encrypted messages? Or will Erika's strategy of total transparency and emotional manipulation work well enough to keep everyone focused on Tyler? That's what makes this whole situation absolutely terrifying. We're not just watching a grieving widow seek justice. We're potentially watching a murderer use her victim's death to gain unprecedented power while millions of people donate money and emotional support to her cause. The conservative movement has rallied around someone who might have betrayed everything they claim to stand for. The leaked TPUSA court filing changes everything about how we should be looking at this case. Every emotional interview, every courtroom appearance, every fundraising appeal, all of it might be part of an elaborate cover-up. The woman who's been asking for complete transparency might be the one with the most to hide. So when people ask what TPUSA said in court about Erika Kirk that's so terrifying, the answer is simple. They said she might be the one who planned Charlie's assassination. They said the financial records and encrypted messages point to her involvement. They said the timeline and the transactions and the communications all suggest a calculated plan to eliminate Charlie and take over his organization. But now you know. Now you understand why Erika is so desperate to control the narrative around this trial. Now you see why she needs cameras in that courtroom showing her crying and grieving, because as long as she can keep people focused on her pain instead of her actions, she stays protected. The leaked documents might be sealed, but the truth about what TPUSA found is out there, and the more you look at Erika Kirk's behavior since September 10th, the more sense it all makes. She's not the hero of this story. She might be the villain who's been hiding in plain sight this entire time, using America's sympathy as a shield while she builds an empire on her husband's grave.